Every student wants to earn while they learn, but advices on the internet can be bad or misleading. In this video, I will go through the most popular videos and shorts to see what actually works that you can implement and make some money.
Be a writer, and this fits very nicely into the content branch of what we're trying to do here. And the example I want to use here is a guy called Jack Rains, who has a fantastic newsletter that he started while he was a student. And so around 2 years ago, Jack decided to start a newsletter talking about finance, talking about travel, basically topics that he was interested in. And at this point, now that he's been doing this for over 2 years, he's got a few tens of thousands of readers on his blog. And every time he sends a newsletter, he's able to charge around $1,400 per ad. But essentially what Jack is doing is following the classic content model of a writer, which is that you write things regularly and over time you build an audience of people who are interested in your work. And then you can start to monetize by selling sponsorships on your work to companies who are then delighted to sponsor your newsletter.
Freelance writing is a good side hustle. In fact, I started with the same. It only takes 2 or 3 hours of work a day, and you can start writing on platforms like LinkedIn or Medium.com on any topics that you are interested in. Personally, I started writing about health and fitness on a WordPress blog. Next, you can do an internship to gain work exposure and slowly build up your portfolio. I just covered the roadmap for a content writer in my recent portfolio video. The link will be in the description. If you're finding this video valuable, hit on the subscribe button so you don't miss out on more content like this.
A content curator. Now this is distinct from a content creator. Content creator, I mean, it's all semantics, but a content creator, I would say, is someone who creates content, whereas a content curator is someone who curates what other people have already created. So there's a bunch of interesting ways of doing this, and one example is this guy, Eduardo Morales, who has an Instagram account called Pinlord, and basically decided to create a business where he curates and sells enamel pins. Yeah, it's kind of weird. And Eduardo grew his Instagram account Pinlord from 0 to over 100,000 followers on Instagram in less than 2 years. Another guy that I follow is called Alex and Books, and essentially he has built his audience on Twitter and Instagram and I think LinkedIn by basically curating insights and summaries from books that he read. And it's really good. I follow him for book recommendations. It's great. He posts on Instagram. He posts some of the highlights from the books that he's read, but he's not really creating anything, which is not a bad thing, by the way, Alex, if you're watching this. He's curating. This is great. You don't need to necessarily be a content creator. You can be a content curator.
Now, that's an interesting idea to summarize insights from books and podcasts and curating content on LinkedIn, Instagram, or YouTube. But taking this side hustle to a full-scale reselling business like you saw in the video will require a lot of time and effort.
Now again, the way we make money is by creating value for people who are willing to pay for that value, or people who are delighted to pay for that value. Now one category of those sorts of people is YouTubers like me. We have money and we are delighted to pay money because we know about the importance of thumbnails. And so if you can be a thumbnail designer for YouTubers, that is a very reasonable way of making money through the internet in a way that's fun and freedom and flexibility and finances and all this kind of fun stuff. And I want to share a couple examples here. So there's this guy, Dil Toma, and there's this article that talks about how this guy at the age of 19 turned designing thumbnails for YouTubers into a full-time job. He began making thumbnails for gaming YouTubers when he was still in school. And when he started off, he would sell one of these thumbnails to his clients for about $15. Then after graduating high school, he was looking for opportunities and he realized that some other big YouTubers were genuinely advertising for a thumbnail designer. And because he had the experience and the skills and had done the thing, he managed to land that job. And now he charges over $250 for a single thumbnail. And he's got multiple huge YouTuber clients that he's making these thumbnails for, and he's probably making a stupidly insane amount of money.
Thumbnail designing is a good option and a high demand skill. You need to learn designing skills and softwares like Canva and Photoshop. In fact, I hired a friend for me to design thumbnails because honestly, I don't have that professional level of designing skills. So just like me, there are many creators who need help with designing thumbnails.
Research assistant. So the first example here is this guy called Drew Burney. So this guy was a student in a PhD program and managed to land a job as Mark Manson's research assistant.
And I read the description and it's like, I need somebody who can research, I need somebody who can write, I need somebody who is a self-starter, and everything. I'm just like, oh, this is too good to be true.
Wow.
It can't be, at that point.
Research assistant is an interesting side hustle. Many brands and content creators need help with their research. So if you're good at research and have expertise in any subject, then this is for you. What you can do is first pick up your niche and start creating content around it on platforms like LinkedIn to showcase your expertise. Next, you can pitch to people in the same niche to help them with their research.
Now this is really old school, but it's still ridiculous how few good designers there are out there and how much startups are willing to pay for designers too. Like I was at this business conference a couple of weeks ago, and one of the guys I met runs a $100 million valuation startup. And he was saying, we're trying to hire 6 designers, but we can literally find no one who's good. So like there's such demand for designers out there. I know someone who hired a web designer and they pay them $400,000 a year to just be a web designer full time for their startup. But if you want to do it as a side hustle initially, then A, you got to learn the skill and be good because, you know, it's money is an exchange of value. And once you're good, then it's very easy to find people who will be delighted to pay you for that service, provided you're good and provided you find the right sorts of people. And the example here is this guy called Chris Misterek.
Website designing can be a good side hustle, and you don't even need coding knowledge to get started. You can use a platform like WordPress and different themes and plugins to design the website. In fact, I am not a website designer and I still get queries to design simple websites for clients.
I'm gonna get some hate for this, but it's dropshipping. While I do think if you find a killer product before anyone else, it can work, but it isn't as easy as some people make it out to be.
Dropshipping is a complete business model and it requires long-term effort before seeing significant profits. It can work if you find profitable products, optimize your listings, and market your store well. But you will need to invest time and put a lot of effort before seeing results. So definitely it's not an easy side hustle.
बहुत सारे तरीके होते हैं. You can either learn a skill जैसे कि video editing या फिर graphic design, and you can then try to pitch your clients once you have a good portfolio.
Even learning simple video editing, including motion graphics, transitions, effects, and color corrections, can get you good projects. You can earn anywhere between 5 to 10,000 rupees per client even as a beginner. Even I have video editors on my team who help me create these kind of videos.
या फिर you can try to bridge the gap, arbitrage opportunity बोल सकते हैं इसको, जैसे कि हम लोग करते हैं. So what we do is that we have a pool of great people who can do video editing or anything like that, graphic design, and we also have access to clients. So we just bridge them, we help them work together, and we take the cut, and that's how it works.
In this video, Ishan is talking about agency business. The agency business model requires expertise and you must be a pro in marketing. This is not a side hustle for beginners because you need to gain expertise and must learn marketing. Doing a side hustle beside your main work is a great idea. Even I started with content writing and blogging during my college first year, which later turned into my full-time focus. Learning a digital skill can be the first step to start your side hustle because it takes less time to get started and the earning potential is high. If you want a roadmap on how to get your first client, then watch this video. I will see you there.